Yes, hello everyone. I am Gary Wickering. My pronouns are he, they. I'm a white queer person of lived experience, and I am an HMIS and data TA for all of YHDP. Joining me today is my colleague, Matt Horsch, and I'll let you introduce yourself, Matt.
Sure. I'm Matt Horsch, he, him, and I am the SAGE administrator. I work at the Partnership Center like Gary, although we do have differing, although frequently overlapping jobs. And I have received a AAQ recently that looped me in to some of the things Gary was tuned into about your YHDP SAGE journey. And so speaking of folks who are new, I have been here for a little more than 3 months. Before that, I spent almost 8 years working in various roles at Cincinnati's largest shelter for adult individuals experiencing homelessness. And during that time, we managed grants for rapid rehousing. And I also sat on the COC board for a brief bit. So I have great love in my heart for folks who are on the ground and do the work. So it's great to meet you guys.
Thank you, Matt. And I myself have been a YHDP grantee, so I know what you're all going through on that end as well. So I'd love for y'all to go through just so we know who we're all talking with. If you all want to go ahead and introduce yourselves, if you don't feel comfortable coming off mute, if you could just go ahead and drop it in the chat, we can popcorn it around. And basically, I'll just go ahead and throw it to Morgan.
Hi, I'm Morgan. I work for Youth Advocates of Sitka. What else do we need?
Is your mic down by your...
Does that
That's better.
work better?
There you go.
Okay.
Yep.
Hi, my name is Morgan Carlson. I work for Youth Advocates of Sitka, and I am a transitional living program permanent navigator. So,
You want to pass it to somebody?
can pass it to Jordan.
Hi everybody, this is Jordan. I'm sorry I have to be on my phone because our internet is screwed up right now and I can't get my camera to turn on. I work for the city of Juneau, and our YHDP project is a partnership with Tlingit-Haida Regional Housing Authority, and we have a rapid rehousing program for youth 18 to 24.
Thank you. And since you're on your phone, I'll go ahead and popcorn it for you. Let's see here. Kira, can you check in with us?
Hi, my name is Kira. I work from my house. I do a little bit of everything in terms of data and case management, housing. I've been here for about, I started volunteering in 2011, so like a while. And we have a navigation in YHDP grant.
Okay, the navigation went great. Abby did check in the chat. Thank you, Abby. Appreciate that. You work with Homer under the YHDP grant, so that's good to know. And then we have HM, whoever's in here under HM.
Hello.
Hi.
HM stands for Heather Murray. I'm the executive director here in Sitka at Youth Advocates of Sitka. I work with Morgan Carlson and Wendy Leverett.
And Wendy did check in the chat, so we've got plenty of folks from Sitka with us today. I'm gonna start us out just with some level setting and some resources that we have available for y'all. So there is both a guide and a recording that was done very recently, just this last fall, for SAGE and for YHDP specifically. So this is exactly just consumables directly for you. One is the actual HMIS repository reporting guide that will cover SAGE questions as well as making sure that your data is getting out of your system okay. Then the webinar really goes through making sure you're accessing SAGE, what to do in SAGE, all of those different types of things. One of the things I want to make sure that we have here is, does everybody have access? And also, has there been a lot of staff changes, or like, have all of you been in Sage at all? So I guess I just want to know, like, what's y'all's kind of like history or experience with Sage and reporting? None. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Let's see, which round were you guys?
Come off. You can come off mute. It's okay.
Yes, you can.
Most just from looking at it on the Sage side of things from the COC,
Mhm.
it seemed as though most of our YHDP grantees were not aware of the fact that reporting in Sage was a requirement until the beginning of this year.
Okay.
So, and we can thank Tundra Women's Collective and Bethel Winter House up there in Bethel for tipping the scales to let us know that this needed to happen. I believe everyone on this call currently has access to Sage. So that is one of the first things that we worked on, but
Sweet.
I don't know that, I'm not sure. I think my house has turned in a few reports. But
No.
never mind.
That's why I'm here. I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay.
So yeah, this they have access, and that's
Okay.
where we're at.
All right. Now, let me go ahead and ask, forget about Sage then. Was everybody entering the data into HMIS for their YHDP projects? See one nod. I got a yep. Everybody else, you can give me thumbs up. You can just jump off mute. Just want to look for some consensus. Okay, that's phew.
Yeah.
That's the biggest phew. Sage is easy. Making up all that data in HMIS, that's really hard. Okay, that's like so much phew. All right. Well, good. Then most of your questions are going to be answered in the things provided. That you already have access is fantastic. These are round 3 grants, to my understanding. Does that sound correct to you? Because I don't believe that you have, and Matt, maybe you can verify this for me. They don't have quarterly reporting for
Correct.
Alaska Balance of State. Guess what? You don't have to do 4 times as reporting as everyone from round 4 or 5 on. So you're walking away with this with some good news today. You could do 4 times the reports. So that's kind of great. I was round 3 as well, so I also kind of felt that kind of joy of not having to do it. And it's the same process either way. So in that guide that I sent you, you would simply ignore the quarterly reporting reports, so QPRs. You don't have to do those. You only have to do annual performance reports, same as any other COC grantee. As in, you have to do one. Obviously, it's a different APR. It has different questions on it. Again, they're covered in the guide. There is a lot more options for narrative in YHDP APRs than there is in some regular COC APRs. It's because you're a demonstration project. We want to hear what's not working. We want to hear what is working. And I'm very sorry that, this hasn't been captured in the past, because unlike other COC APRs where I don't know always what happens with that data, I actually recently had to review all of the YHDP APRs narratives for all of our grantees for the last several years. So I read them. So somebody is reading them. And we're compiling that information and we're acting on it. So it's like, oh, we definitely want to do that. So I just wanted to highlight that, is that they're not complicated. These are open, like, give us some qualitative information. Even one question specifically says qualitative, so you don't have to put in numbers. So that's good news. You don't have to write me a novel either. Not saying that. Not saying that I'm going to read it either. If you do, but saying you'll want to go through the guide with fine-tooth comb. The recording goes through these as well and talks about how that works out in Sage. It's just like any other. Well, it's not just like any other. It involves additional abilities in Sage. So there's a thing that will be coming out, which is the YHDP dashboard. There's an archived version that actually would include your data once you upload it, because your previous rounds, you're an older round. So like there's like tools that you had available to you also to like look at how you're doing compared to the rest of the country that you'll get to start using soon. We had to like redo them because of the data standard changes, which happen everywhere. But that's good news as well. You also have me. I am the YHDP Data and HMIS TA. You can always reach out to me. I'll drop my email into the chat. So that is kind of just like a framework of like, okay, so yes, you have to do this. You don't have to do it every quarter. You just have to do it once a year. We need to get those prior years in. I don't think that anybody's looking for an exception on that, because if you are, then that's a whole different other thing that we're going to have to go through there. And if the data is already in your HMIS, great. The only thing that's kind of, sorry, I'm trying to type and do this at the same time. There we go, at partnership.net. There we go. So there's my email address. One other thing that's kind of different and new about this APR process is that there's 2 files you produce. Normal COC reporting, and I understand, you know, you guys might not have normal COC reporting, so I'm really only speaking to Helen when I say that. But there's like 1 file you produce. Oh gosh, I forgot the N. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Matt, for catching that.
It's my job to
Yep.
manage the
Like I said,
details.
typing and speaking at the same time. Bad idea. Partnership Center is who we're with, not the other one. I don't know. Yeah, there's 2 files you'll report. The normal APR, which, you know, can you remind me who your vendor is for HMIS?
Skynet. No, not Skynet, sorry. That's a, whoops, that was Freudian. Well, Sky?
Okay. Skynet, well, Sky, I get it.
I'm gonna remember that one. That's
That is
fantastic.
really funny. Just on a, yeah, that's objectively
Whoops.
hilarious. All right. Then yeah, that's just, you know, the canned report that, you know, comes out, the APR. You'll do a normal one of those for your reporting period. Again, look to the guide for that. The special thing about YHDP is that you also export a hash CSV. In WellSky products, it was referred to as the RIMUS export. Which again is just, it's not anything you have to do. It is a function in your HMIS that will export this file. You export it for the same time period as the APR, and basically it's additional data. It covers some runaway and homeless youth data elements, and some RIDE and some YHDP data elements. Yes, ICA can help you with exporting that as well, because if they're your HMIS lead, good call. So yeah, so they will simply, you'll export 2 files. And then there's something called a supplemental reporting tool in Sage. Don't panic, it's all in the guide. It's just when you're uploading your reports, you upload this report, okay, and I end up to upload this report. It's got to go through this special filter first called the SRT, or supplemental reporting tool. And what that does is you put your hash CSV in there, and it strips out even more things of it and makes it even more de-identifiable before dumping it into Sage, and then allowing you to go ahead and click submit. So we're going to want to do that for, you know, like I said, these prior years that are still outstanding in Sage to get them all wrapped up. How does that feel? Questions, concerns?
Can you define what a hashed report means?
Sure. A hashed HMIS CSV is also AKA referred to as a RIMUS export or RI export. And it was originally designed for runaway and homeless youth grants out of HMIS, and it's just an export of all of that data, all of the runaway and homeless youth data, as opposed to, it's just a different way of like the APR, the COC APR, it looks nice, whereas the RIMUS export is just like, it's ugly. It's just like an ugly file that comes out, and then they make it look pretty somewhere else. Whereas an APR, it's made pretty, and then it's exported so that you can kind of look at it once in a while. Does that answer your question?
And hashed means that identifying information is not visible, correct?
Yes, there's an additional visibility filter added to that CSV when it is exported, and I'm going to drop a link in here for you because I love getting these questions. I have in here, let's see, there is the programming specifications. Wait, no, that does not have, hang on, I got the right link here somewhere. There it is. Here in the data standards, you will find the hashed HMIS CSV format XML, so you can go through and see everything that's supposed to be included. ICA should know all of this stuff, and they can verify that everything's good. But that should give you all of the references to these things that I'm mentioning if you want them, because HUD documents everything out the wazoo, so we're covered there. Any questions from grantees or
Do
additional
we need to
questions?
label it in a specific manner, like the RHY ones?
Oh, that's right. I do remember that about runaway and homeless youth. You had to like name them in a specific naming format.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Matt, I'll pitch this question to you.
Well, there's a great way to talk about this because I can try to explain things, but one of the things I find is useful is to show actually in Sage and what that would look like. I made myself a recipient account and I dropped in all of the recipient entities that you all have here in Alaska. None of the reporting that goes up has personally identifiable information. In fact, it shouldn't ever have personally identifiable information in it. Would it be all right if I walked you through what one of your various grants look like in Sage?
Go for it.
I think it'd be super.
Now, this is a
helpful, Matt.
test environment and it is not current. So if for whatever reason I happen to show one that someone is working on, it's not going to have all the latest stuff. We get these updates about once a month or so. We get all the data off of Sage and we use it for our own test environment here. So so we have folks here from Sitka. I'll choose this one here. So you have a transitional housing project. So when you would
Can you
log
share your
in,
screen, Matt?
I sure can.
That's gonna
That
make
would
it a lot
be
easier.
fantastic.
That'd be a lot easier.
Sure would, wouldn't it? All right. Here we are. So, so this is
Nope.
Nope.
not Sage. Oh, I have to say share.
There we
There
go. Could folks give me a thumbs up if they see it before you go, Matt? Yay, thank you. All right,
Thumbs
thank you,
up.
too. All right.
Excellent. So let's back out a further step here. So when you first go to Sage, and the website for Sage is sagehmis.info. So this is, and I'll drop that in the chat. I know that several folks on the call here have access to Sage. I am not sure that it is everybody, because before we started the meeting, I ran a list of every single user in the Alaska 501c03 COC. And you guys have something very interesting going on. And I will show you, well, Gary and I sat down before the meeting and we discovered something that makes you guys rather unique. And that is that your YHDP recipients, those agencies and your regular COC agencies have zero overlap. This is something that Gary has a lot more experience on actual YHDP implementations than I do. But this, usually my understanding of the YHDP system, OH500, which is where I come from, it is a YHDP continuum of care. And we were, well, the agency that did a lot of the work, the agencies that did the YHDP work were also agencies that did COC work. This is something different that is going on with you all. In fact, for the 6 recipient agencies that I see, for Alaska 501, you all have among them, I believe, 8 users. Not counting COC users like Helen, but a very small number of users that to do these this reporting. So one of my first recommendations will be that anyone that has access for one of your recipients, that you have someone else at your agency also get access. so that you guys can, you know, help one another with doing the reporting that's necessary. And the nice thing about Sage is that anybody can create an account. You create an account by going to the sagehmis.info, and then over here it says create an account, and you just click on that link there, and you enter your information on the left, and then on the right you want to say what, well, in your case, it would be that you're a recipient of a COC grant. YHDP, of course, is a COC grant type. And then you would type in, you could type in the name of your agency. So, so I'll type in Sitka, and there's AK 501 Youth Advocates of Sitka. Now, if I click there, it would add it as a suggestion. But you can also just type in AK-501, and then all of the possible recipient entities, as we call them in Sage, will pop up here. So choosing your roots, that's another one. You could say, okay, that's who I am. Once you complete this information, you prove that you're not a robot, and then you say request account, and notice that you're going to create your username, which is your work email address, and then your password. This will automatically be sent to users at your COC. So let me pause my share real quick to grab something off of, oops, that's not it.
That's not, you didn't pause your share.
I'm looking in Teams for the Zoom thing here.
Oh, it's okay. I did want to go ahead while you're looking, Matt, and just cover,
Yeah, go ahead.
In the Sage user manual as well. That is linked to the login page that Matt's on. So it covers also this creation thing that Matt's going through. The link to the Sage itself, like you said, I dropped that in the chat for you, Matt, so that's covered. And so, yeah, if it's you that you have access, great. You're here, you're getting the training. If it's not you, we need to get them the training. When folks leave their positions, we need to make sure none of these ones out here are old and left behind. I think, Helen, you probably said you cleaned all of that up, so we're probably okay. If it does happen, though, it's no big deal. You would reach out to the Sage admins for us to go ahead and get rid of any old accounts that are on there. So that is something that, you know, you do just through an AAQ to the Sage desk, and we go ahead and take care of that for you. That's the normal escalation path. I'll drop a link to the AAQ in here. Matt, go ahead.
So, so yeah, among all of your 6 YHDP recipient entities, there are 8 users, and 3 of them are represented on this call, in fact. So I would highly recommend to those of you who are users, who are not users, that you go ahead and make sure that someone else at your agency who is involved in the reporting can get access to Sage, because as soon as you go ahead and you request your account by saying request account here, then an email automatically goes to at least 6 different people at your COC. And if your agency has an account administrator attached to it, they would also get an email and say, hey, this person just requested access to your reporting. Make sure that this individual is someone that should have access to it, and if so, go ahead and approve them. And so, and those approvals usually are very, very swift. I saw one yesterday. So, I get these AAQs every now and again. The reason, by the way, that I didn't put my email in the chat is because if you put in an AAQ for Sage, you get me. I am the person that 98% of the Sage AAQs pass through me in some variety to start. And if I'm off or whatnot, might be the only reason why one might not. I also don't work with ESGCV AAQs, but I suppose that you know, none of you are dealing with ESGCV, or at least that's not why we're here. So so that's just some basic basic getting to know Sage that I wanted to lead off with. Is there any questions at this point? All right. So in Sage Test here, an example of Youth Advocates of Sitka, this is what one of the APRs would look like. Like I said, our data in our test environment is a little old, so if you've started any of this, this system doesn't see it. This is just to show what completing an APR is like. And you just start each section, so grant information, it just says, here is all that information, and you click save, and you go down the line. Contact information, you enter all of your information, and then you click save. The information that we were just talking about does the
Hey, Matt.
hashed or the raw, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but before we moved off from contact information, did want to point out that doesn't necessarily mean that it's you. Sometimes like it's whoever should be the contact for the grant. So if you are doing the reporting for this or the data entry for this stage, and yet it's your ED or someone that actually should be in the contact there, then that is who you'd put. So you want to put the appropriate contact person there, not necessarily yourself. Hopefully it's you, so that it makes sense that you have access. But sometimes that's not the case. So I just wanted to, sorry, that was a little thing that sometimes trips people up that I wanted to note.
That's good, good clarification. We were talking about the hashed HMIS export, also known as the RAI HMIS export. Each HMIS software has their own report name for it, which can make it a little tricky. But as Helen mentioned, talking to your HMIS is the best way to find out, to make sure that you're running the right reports that you need to run. But the one we were talking about, the hashed export, that is the YHDP supplemental CSV upload. Now, in Sage, on any page, so I'll just pick this page, there is help information always available to you. So there's always going to be this help and resources button here and reporting guidance. YHDP guidance is going to be here. Now, I visited the website here for the Alaska Coalition, and I noticed that you guys very helpfully have the YHDP reporting guidance, which is the SAGE guidebook. And I will let you know something that no other YHDP community, I don't think, yet knows, and that is that this weekend there is going to be a brand new version of this that will be deployed, and it will be available immediately on Sage this weekend. I should say on Monday. So the version that you have on your website, you'll want to make sure points to the new version of it. And it's good that you do. So this is actually coming directly from the HUD Exchange. So we've sent the document off to be updated on the HUD Exchange. It may or may not be done by Monday, but it will be in Sage on Monday. And so you can always find it by going to help and resources here. So the hashed HMIS CSV, it's also sometimes called the HMIS CSV. You will use a SRT app, we call it. That is the Supplemental Reporting Tool app. So again, on the APR that we were just looking at, under Supplemental CSV Upload, each one of these links will give you the information you need in order to fill out the reporting that you need to do. And so in this case, it just tells you Sage requires a special supplemental CSV created in a zip file to be uploaded. And you download a tool, and then you put the hashed HMIS CSV into it. So you download the app right here, and
I
it will
do want to say while
install.
sorry,
What's that?
I just wanted to say something while it was installing, but it installed. so
Sure,
fast.
yeah.
I just wanted to say that I know that it can get a little weedsy when we're saying this is a CSV and then it says in there it's a zip file, and it's just one of those things where, like, I get that from folks the first time they use it too. They're like, I thought I was looking for a CSV. I know what that looks like. It ends with a .csv. Why does this end with a .zip? And it's like, yeah, it's because it's filled with a bunch of CSVs. That's why we call it that, even though it is technically a zip file. So you're good. I just wanted to avoid that for now. Thank you, Matt.
No, that's a very good point. And in fact, when I was starting to type up my first AAQ responses, I was saying zip file, zip file. And it's just everyone, it has gotten to the point that folks have accepted CSV as the way of saying it's a zip file of CSV files. So that's how it's known. So when you open the SRT app, it'll ask you to upload a hashed HMIS CSV, and it will go directly to your computer where you can pick a file, and you would upload the file that you got directly from your HMIS or comparable database. You wouldn't be making any changes to the product that came from the HMIS or comparable database. So you're not editing anything on it. You don't need to change the name of it. You just upload it as is, and it will spit out a file that will be saved on your computer that you will then come back and then upload here. So that's what the HMIS CSV or the RAI HMIS or the HMIS CSV, whatever you call it in your HMIS, that is how you will create the file that gets uploaded here. The reason why we use the app is because the HMIS CSV is a comprehensive download of a lot of information about your community. And Gary has his hand up, so I will let him take.
That's fine. I can wait till after you're done. Go ahead.
Oh, well, so it's a very comprehensive data about your community, and because of that, we don't want PII to even be accidentally uploaded to Sage. In order to do that, we have the users on their own machine use the app which is saved on your own computer. It's not something, when you upload something to the app, it doesn't come to us. It strips it down to only the data HUD needs, and make sure that you're using the hashed version as opposed to the unhashed version. Unhashed means don't obscure the names, don't obscure the social security numbers. Hashed means, yeah, just make up placeholders for all of that information, because we don't want to send, real names, real social security numbers. We don't want to send any of that. HUD only wants aggregate information. So that's the point of why there's a two-step process, because we want to make sure that we are being very, very careful and confidential with the data that your youth participants are submitting and that you are collecting and storing in your HMIS or your comparable database. So a very long and detouring answer about what that HMIS CSV is about, but I hope that it is helpful. Are there any questions about that before I move back to Gary?
All right. Thank you, Matt.
Sure.
Yeah, I wanted to, you do not, so you will be uploading these annually. You may be expected to, archive them internally that you submitted them. So you may need to edit the name on the file for your organizational purposes. You need to be able to find the file to upload it into here. So you'll probably edit the file, but you don't have to call it something specific. No, call it, I mean, HUD will see the file when it's uploaded, so keep it appropriate, but otherwise just name it whatever you need for your internal, organization. And I would say, keep that, I recommend that because you can't always recreate something in HMIS as it was when you submitted it, because it's a living system. So if somebody goes back and changes the data on it, it won't match what you have. So I always recommend when you submit an APR, archive that internally so it stays static, and then your HMIS system can go ahead and continue on living. That way, if there's ever any issues, you have receipts. Always keep receipts on everything. I mean, it's a government grant, so you got to. Why hate a hash CSV? I'm sorry, why the SRT? Not just use the hash CSV. Why we do that in our runaway and homeless youth? That's because runaway and homeless youth is an HHS, homeless Health and Human Services branch of government, designed that file, and then HUD, which is the COC, did YHDP, and they didn't agree on the specifications for the files, and that is another reason why. So it's not that if you have runaway and homeless youth, there's anything wrong with your file. It's just that there's an additional layer that we only want HUD to have what they need to have, as opposed to everything that HHS needs to know. So there's another lens too. If you have both fundings, because oftentimes folks that have YHDP funding also have experience with FISB. So that's I can't remember what FISB stands for. I've been doing so well in the chat, keeping up with the PIIs and the CSVs, but I can't remember what FISB stands for. It's the Family and Young Services Bureau? No, something. Anywho. So we've come to the end of what we'd prepared for you today. Matt, could you go ahead and stop sharing unless you have something else to go ahead and keep sharing, and I'll bring up all our screens. Yeah, so do you guys feel prepared? Obviously, you're gonna have to look at your material, go into Sage, see when your reporting periods are, check in with your HMIS, be like, hey, this is the report, right? When we run the report, you can look at it, definitely look at it. It's just like cooking without tasting. You don't do that. You don't do that. So you should look at your APR when you run it, because it'll show it to you. Check it out, be like, this has no clients in this section, or this has a bazillion clients in this section. That seems weird. Figure that out with your HMIS lead before you upload it. We don't need you to just hurry up and upload it if you feel like there's something wrong with the data, because it's just going to create probably more problems. You want to source it out and just let your DDO, like let Micah know, we're on our way, we're doing this, but we ran into a technical glitch with whatever. As opposed to, here's a broken file, let's just get it in there, because then, yeah, nobody likes that. So I'm saying don't rush, check it before you put it in, just like, you taste before you serve. Yeah, otherwise we're kind of, the rest of our time here can be reserved for your time, or we can give some time back to you. And Helen, if you have anything.
Actually, I just, if anyone has any questions now, this is a great opportunity to ask those questions so that you're sharing the information with everybody, because you may be at different places. And so you might have a question that the answer of which would benefit your cohort. If no one has any questions, or if you don't want to ask them with everyone else around, then we can definitely, I know Gary put his email in the chat, and there's also the link to ask a question at HUD. If you're going to reach out to Gary directly, the only request I have is that you copy me on that email, just so I know kind of what the questions are and what the answers are, in case someone else comes to me with that same question. Does anyone have questions right now? for either of these folks?
I don't at the moment because I'm very hands-on with my stuff. So like as I'm going through it, you might see an email from me, so but I really appreciate you guys explaining this and giving the resources.
Of course. And honestly, yeah, the resources will walk you through just like we did. The video recording is just a really long version of what Matt did that's much more in detail. The guide is just step by step. And when I shared the link to the guide, that's the landing page in the HDX page, the HUD Exchange page. So that is where they should update that link. Even when that gets updated, that link should still be valid for y'all. And yes, you're going to have to update your website. That's the problem. If you don't link to the landing pages, it bites you. So I would recommend your IT folks update that to the landing page, and then you never have to kind of worry about it again, probably.
IT folks, that's me too.
Okay, well, I did that too when I was my tweet in Iowa. So I'm like, okay, I say that, knowing that it might be you. Fair enough.
I'll go ahead and change the link to that. And once we're all done here, I will upload this recording. And then I will also upload a link to, or our IT folks, quote unquote, will also upload a link to the video that you, that does the step-by-step. And so we're all late on our reports.
This isn't, this isn't about that. This is just about, I wish Micah was here or available, but we'll have to follow up with Micah to see, like, you're moving forward. You're late, but you're moving forward.
And that was, that's exactly what Micah is fully aware of, the fact that we're working on this. And so don't feel like this all has to be done before, the end of the month or whatever. So we know that everyone's getting to it as we can. And there was a severe lack of adequate communication prior to this. And so we're just setting a base level and moving on from here.
I will add, I seen this some with doing AAQs for Sage, that sometimes someone will ask Sage a question that maybe we could answer and might even have as good an answer as your dedicated desk officer in the case of YHDP, or in the case of a regular COC grant, your CPD representative. I always encourage individuals to always loop in their dedicated desk officer in your case, because of the fact that they know the lay of the land of what you're dealing with, and they work with other communities like yours, and they've seen these things happen. They've seen things happen in other communities that they might be able to help you with. So I very much encourage always looping in your contacts at HUD if you have a question, because they might be able to help out with that. I will say from the AAQ side, that when I started, one of the things that we are very, very proud of here is the Sage AAQ desk. We have one of the highest, fastest response rates of all the AAQ desks, and so we take great pride in making sure that we get a quick and a personalized answer out to you if you have a question. And if we can't do that in text, we will reach out to you with a phone call or a screen share, or whatever needs to be done to make sure that you have the tools you need to be able to get it right. Because this is the system is for all of us, and we're the custodians of it for you guys. So we want to make sure that it works for everyone. So that's my piece.
Thank you, Matt. Wonderful. All right. Well, anything else from y'all? I mean, obviously, yeah, you have backdate entry to do. Your first one will be there. Good news is, once you have, you've done one, you'll have it. You can copy and paste some of the contact stuff. Not saying every section. Hearing me now, don't say it. Not saying that. But you know, it's going to start, the ball will start rolling for you, and it's going to get easier and easier as you go, and you'll be caught up before you know it. You just have to get over this initial hump. All right, well, we can give you 10 minutes back to your day.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Matt and Gary. We appreciate you and taking the time to walk us through this and offering to be resources for our grantees moving forward. And thanks to all of our YHDP grantee participants in this webinar. I'm excited about all of us learning something new in our jobs. So if you need anything, let me know. I'll be reaching out to you to schedule our next cohort meeting so that we can all get together and have a conversation about what else might be needed and other ways in which we can support you in your work. And have a fabulous Thursday.
Also, thanks so much.